Hi and welcome. I'm glad you're here. Today on Art Joy of Sharing, Chelsea and I were working on some projects, and I just wanted to share what I did. So let's get started, shall we? One of the first things I started talking about are these Birds and Bloom magazines for inspiration. I had done the Pick Stick Challenge, which is what Shell was working on today, and the little birdie that you see on my desk is what I did for that. If you want to see that video, it is in my videos for yesterday, so you can look that up and watch that. But I had created a number of different backgrounds the prior week on Art Joy is Sharing, and so if you want to see how to create those, they are in last week's Art Joy is Sharing. But these are the Pick a Stick challenges, and we do them each month on Art Joy is Sharing Facebook group. We have a number of challenges in the Facebook group each month, and you're welcome to come and join us. You just have to answer the questions, and then we'll let you in the group, and you can share your artwork. There's a lot in there to share. We're doing a challenge where we're sharing background papers, and that's what I've used as a base for this page. I have glued down this torn paper collage. This was submitted from Eleni S. She has a YouTube channel, and I'll try to remember to put a link to her channel in the description box below. But she is a member of Art Joy is Sharing, and she graciously shared some of her background. So I had put a coat of weathered wood over the glued paper background, and that's what you see that looks shiny. And now I'm putting a coat of paint over the top of that and getting this crackle into the background. I'm just using a rag and rubbing some of that away. I'm going to use some matte medium over the top of the whole thing because that crackle will continue to crack off, so you want to make sure you seal it in. So there are a lot of different backgrounds that are available in our Facebook group because everybody's sharing. And those were some pages that Shell and I had used in a previous monochromatic challenge that we had on Stencil Girl. So I was just showing how you can use papers to create a project. So that's what I'm doing. I have this paper that's glued down. I'm totally altering it with paint and things and creating my version of this background paper. So now the coat of matte medium goes on. I do have to dry that down a little bit, and then once that is dry, I will move on to something else. So our show is an hour and a half show, and things do have to dry. So I have these two 5x7 Arteza canvas boards that I had put some crackle medium on, and I'm just going to paint out these backgrounds. I wanted my page to dry down a little bit before I went back to it because, you know, that acrylic needs time to dry, and I don't always want to put a hot air gun on that because, you know, it's plastic. You don't really want to heat the plastic, but, you know, sometimes I do. And so I'm using these DecoArt media paints and painting out this crackle background. And I'll add some water. I'll spritz it and get it moving and just playing around, getting the colors on there and wanting to see the surface effects of the crackle. So I'm drying that down just a little bit of blowing, mopping up the excess moisture, getting some of that grungy stuff to come through. And there we go. So that's one. Now I'm going to switch colors. I've still got a lot of color on my palette there, so I'm using this piece of paper that has a background on it. If you go check Art Joyous Sharing Facebook group, this is another background that I have shared in the Facebook group. So, you know, it's there for you to use. You just have to print it out on your printer. And you can download a whole bunch of backgrounds on Art Joyous Sharing that, you know, all the artists have shared. They're a gracious, friendly group who shares things. So now I'm getting a blue-green color palette going on this particular background and using a brayer and brayering that on. That turquoise color is gorgeous. I'm going to add some Titan Buff, I think, on top of that. Just keeping the layers of grunge going. Real easy way to create a fun background. And, you know, we all got our brayers from doing gel printing, so why not use it as a paint applicator? So I'm just using some of that paint up, you know, cleaning up my mess, and we'll be back to do some more. So still a little bit wet on the page, but yeah, we got an hour and a half to create with, so I'm going to get out my, what do they call it, heated tool. This is from Ranger. It's a little more not as focused as a regular embossing tool, and it doesn't heat up the paint quite as much, and if you keep moving it around, it will dry things down. So I'm just checking it. Yeah, it's still a little bit damp, but we've got to keep moving. So I'm going to get some more paint out, and we'll start, you know, working on this background, because I think the background part is done. Now I need my focal imagery. So I've got some quinacridone red and magenta and black, and I'm just painting some hearts. I like hearts today. I'm feeling the love. So painting out hearts. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, I need another one. I gotta have an odd number here, right? So I've got 5 hearts painted, and I've got a lot of that stuff left on my palette again, so I'm putting it on another page, just not to waste paint. And now I'm going to get one of my favorite tools, which is my Pentel Pocket Brush Pen, and I'm going to do a little bit of sketching around the hearts with that. The cool thing is this has a permanent ink in it. The cartridges are refillable, and uh, it's a brush pen, so you get the same, you know, thickness of line that you would with a brush, just with the pressure that you're applying. So I really love this particular pen. It's one of my favorite go-tos. The main thing is you got to have your paint dry or you pick up paint in your brush and you don't want to ruin your brush. So make sure that your paint is dry, and you'll be fine. So I'm just sketching with that Pentel Pocket Brush Pen around these hearts, and I'm turning them into a flower by adding a stem. They could have been balloons, they could have been anything, right? And I'm adding some little swirly doos at the top, And yeah, now I'm looking at this, and the pocket brush is fine, but we're talking about the different brushes and what you can use. And so I decided that I'm going to grab a brush and some paint and, just show you how you can also do the same thing with a brush and paint. So I have my DecoArt Media paint in a black and just a round brush, and I'm applying the paint with that brush, making some little branchy fern type things. And continuing to create. So Shell is doing her thing, and if you want to see hers, you'll have to check her channel. I'll try to put a link to her too in the description box below, because it's there. And if you want to see the whole thing in its entirety with the two of us on the screen doing it live, in which case it'll be slowed down and we'll be talking through the whole thing and talking to the audience and that sort of thing, then go check out our sister channel, which is Art Joya Sharing. We do this live each Thursday, 10:30 Central Standard Time. That would be 8:30 Pacific. And we'd love to have you in the audience so that we can talk to you directly. And then we'd also love to have you in our community. Art Joya Sharing is about sharing and about community. We love the fact that people are sharing their art. And because of that, we have all kinds of challenges each month. There's at least 4 challenges for you. So lots of opportunity for you to, follow the challenges, create using our prompts, and just share the work that you're making, because that's what it's about. It's about sharing. So, here I'm talking about other ways of doing journaling, and it was a question from the audience, so I just grabbed one of my journals and was sharing that information. But I'm going to continue on with this page. I'm getting out my white Posca pen now and starting to add some accents in here. I have the white Posca pen in a number of different sizes, and I recommend that you get these pens in different sizes because, sometimes you want a real thin line and sometimes you want something kind of chunky. So I am just going to continue with my mark making now. That's, one of the steps in my journal process, as I, have done the paint background and the painting and the, all the grunge work. And now I'm just coming in and using Posca pens. You could use other pens, but I would say if you're going to use other pens on a page like this, let your acrylic paint dry overnight. The reason I can get away with Posca pens on this is because they are a paint pen. And, it's an acrylic, so it's going to go over the acrylic. But a lot of other gel pens and things do not write on the acrylic when it still has the dampness in it. So let your page dry down before you continue on. So this is just a very whimsical interpretation. Nothing realistic, just having fun. And, you can have a lot of fun with your mark making on your page. Just, take out your pens and go for it. Lots of ways that you can doodle. You could actually go inside of those hearts and make patterns and things, or you could have created patterns onto the leaves, and yeah, lots of options. So now I have my Pitt pens. These are artist Pitt pens from Faber-Castell, and I'm just deepening the color in the bottom of those hearts. And then I'm going to grab my Marabou crayons. These are water-soluble crayons, and they also blend with my finger very well. So I'm just, applying that around on my page and blending it out and giving things a little bit more depth and variation from a solid color. But you notice I'm still in the same color family, and I think that helps unify the page just by sticking with that. So we're getting towards the end of the show. It's an hour and a half, and yeah, there's only so much I can do in an hour and a half, but I got a journal page done, and I'm happy with that. And so I'm going to wrap up this page. I'll give you some shots of some of the other backgrounds that we were working on. I'll give you some final shots in the outro, and remember to check out Shell and Eleni, and come and join us on the Facebook group. If you're new to my channel and you happen to like this content and you want to see more, be sure to like, share, subscribe. You can post things on Pinterest. Yeah, it's just a fun way of sharing and promoting an artist that you like, because that's how my YouTube channel grows. It's how other people find me. It's how our community grows, and I appreciate each and every one of you and all of the things that you do to help me with that. So thank you. Thanks for being here, and I will see you again next time. Be sure and watch the ending, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.